Nice.
However,
It's a dick dog.
It's a four-faced.
the chain monster, you saw your dearly departed loved ones.
Yeah.
This thing is just
Like an evil skull.
an evil skull looking thing.
Yeah.
The DC's only 12, but I'm scared. 10? You begin to scream. And it growls. They know you're there because you're screaming and you're frightened. So you basically do whatever you can to scramble out. And there is a moment while you're trying to get up the stairs. At the same time, the Fant is coming down. Oh my God! There's a dick dog down there. There's a faceless dog. The Fant just stops you.
You don't understand. There's a dog without a face. Or has a face but then doesn't when it wants.
The Fant just picks you up, kind of like by your backpack, and is bringing you into the room.
Don't let it touch me. Don't let it touch me.
And I think Luudo, at this point in time, is having his how shall we say,
Full-on interview.
his interview. He's now a guest at the Spyder. Meanwhile, so that was the night of the attack on the slough. And then you guys did a bunch of things on your way back. Which means I think the conversation with the Spyder happens then.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, if you guys don't mind, I will get that to a certain point.
Yeah.
There is a gambling den / thieves kip. Trogax sits you down in front of this big roulette wheel. You realize that the other half of the roulette wheel is full of bottles, like like some sort of alchemy lab has been set up. It's part alchemy lab, part dissection lab, similar to the thing that's up top. There are some very rough-looking folks that are sitting at gambling tables, eating and drinking. There is a small halfling with some glowing blades, a man with red hair and dark robes. There's a woman who looks like she's got snake-like scales and snake-like eyes. There's Trogax, the walking armored Fant, who is even more scary than your Fant. Given that he's wearing like 100 pounds worth of plate and armor. There's the creepy dog thing that you are completely afraid of, and Shelsa doesn't want to come out. There's a man that has tattoos that are crawling like they are spiders living upon his skin.
I know that trick.
And he grins at you as you sit down.
Hello.
There's a fighting cage turned into a prison cell. These look like they are cage bars mixed with mesh, but now they're also covered in very thick webbing, and you can see little skeletal fairies look like they've been caught in the webbing, and you think you can hear like little tiny fairy things crying on the other side of this cage. At the center of the of this menagerie, if you will, there is a great gilded cage where there's this parrot-like thing sitting on a little rocker inside the cage. It's like a parrot body, but then the head of a little person, like a little fairy. It looks at you. A moment later, you see a tiny you, like rocking on the little swing.
I'm gonna feel myself. Does it? What? Look over at Trogax. Do I just ignore it?
He snorts it's an annoyance. You don't know if it's an annoyance at you or the other, and he just goes and
Okay,
walks into the
bye.
other room.
Bye, Drogax. I miss him.
The foreskin dog sits down near the front of the door. Don't mind him. He amuses me.
The Fant or the little me in a cage?
Oh, the Fant is my right-hand man.
Oh, I like him. I don't think he's quite fond of me yet.
I've got to make him spin, says the woman. Not yet. I heard an interesting story that you're from Harrowstone, eh?
Yeah, about.
Would you come over here, let's have a drink. Lou.
You can call me Sweet Lou. You seem cool.
Sweet Lou.
Yeah.
It's this guy who's talking.
Yeah, who the fuck is he talking to?
Where? Oh,
The bartender?
Spyder himself.
Oh, this is Spyder? Oh shit.
Sorry, I thought it was the weird doctor.
Yeah.
No, the
Drogax.
weird doctor looks like he's pissed off at everything that's going on.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. You're getting deep into the hideout, man. Try not to die.
Sweet Lou, I've never heard of you.
Sweet Lou, I've never heard of you. Is he trying to dance?
I like the rhyme, and I do like the rhyme. Okay. But I do try to stay under the radar. Can I throw something at it?
It amuses me.
Oh, right.
You can turn into anything that it sees.
Really?
Just a small version of it. And when it wants to, you can get your voice quite similar.
Did you make him? That it?
Make him? It's a fairy. He says it like it's a...
Yeah, I don't know much about fairies and such. It looked like a bird with a human head. Like it had mashed together.
And when that one does not amuse me any longer, I'll find one that does. I always find that giving one great privilege is a way to keep the others in line.
Oh, I see.
Sweet Lou, tell me, have you been to the Pro Cantina as of late? How is old Cy doing?
Not as of late, but in my past I've been there. He seemed his Cy self, cutting deals and being mysterious. Have you met Cy himself?
Oh, Cy and I go back, way back.
Really? Like, good back?
He and I have different ideas of how things should be run.
Oh.
We went our separate ways. There was a time when we were the terror of all the slough.
I can imagine.
The top knot tells me that you could use those blades.
I think so. They haven't failed me yet.
And are you willing to use them?
Nothing stopped me this far. The world we're in now, it seems like that's the only thing I can really do.
You don't seem to like fairies very much.
Me? I've met a few. That one can be annoying. But I barely know him.
What if I were to tell you that they are very profitable?
Oh, I'm sure. I've seen their dust go for quite the dollar.
What do you know about their dust?
Dollars? Well, I know it's used in a lot of different applications, from alchemy to... That's about it. I dabble in alchemy myself.
You're an alchemist. Why, Sweet Lou?
A bit.
Why don't you show me what you know?
Okay. I'll just hold up one of my bomb sues.
No.
Oh, like,
Spider produces a key. You're not too sure where it came from, but
that was cool.
he puts the key on the bar top. Go and collect some components for me and show me what you know.
I would love to do that. Do you,
Don't ruin their wings. I hate when their wings are ruined.
Says the doctor.
Oh. Rest assured I should...
The mocking fae turns back into bird when it learns that you're about to murder some fae. It actually turns into the doctor.
Yeah.
Don't ruin their wings. I hate when their wings are ruined. I hate everything. Blah, blah, blah.
Luudo starts laughing hysterically at the other guy being mocked. I like it now. I totally get what you mean, Spyder. That is great. That is good. Oh yeah, right. Are there any in there? It seems like
More than enough for now.
skeletons.
You can't see through, so you can see
Right.
that there's a door. There's maybe some spots. You walking over with the key?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, you can see lots of little spiders moving throughout the web, spinning their webs over and over.
Oh,
Hundreds, if not thousands of them. You probably don't want to touch the webbing.
quite the cage you got here. Assuming it's dangerous.
Gossamer phage spiders are very interesting. Okay, there's a heavy cage door that's been boarded up to kind of make the cracks very small.
Alright.
There is a big lock on it.
Okay, let's just pop this bad boy open.
Okay, so you open it up. There's a dirty area. It looks like there's a bunch of like little boots and little weapons, and there's a body of a fairy. Its wings have already been plucked on the ground, and you can see a couple of them flying around at the back, looking really frightened. These are really tiny, tiny, tiny fae. These fairies are diminutive, so they're like only a few inches tall. They're more solid and not glowy like like Pixel
Right.
is, but they're really, really small. There's a blue one and some green ones. They look like little elves. You got the key in your hand. Just open the door.
I'm gonna step in,
Okay.
make sure the door's secure.
Okay, you closing the door behind you?
Yeah.
Okay, it's one of those locks where you could open it up from either end, so
Right.
you could actually lock it behind you
Okay.
if you wanted to.
I'll lock it behind me.
Okay.
Well, looks like it's either me or you, so let's get to it.
They start fluttering up in the room.
God damn it. Fucking-
Don't kill us. Never did anything to you.
No, but that guy's probably gonna kill me if I don't get my hands on one of you, so I'm sorry.
Help us escape and we'll be your friend.
I don't really think what you can provide if you leave is help for me. There's a freaking fan here. Let me check my stuff.
You can hear them laughing outside.
I feel like...
What's the matter, sweet Lou?
Hold on a minute, they're just a bit of... They're always so tricky. I feel like I should have... Nope. I do not. We sold it all. I didn't keep any for myself. Okay.
They're all kind of flying around near the top of the cage. You have to jump to attack them.
Yeah, I'm going to pull out What's my billy club thing called?
The sap?
Yeah. Want my sap.
Nice.
And try and see if I can hit one of them hard enough to
Knock it out.
demobilize it.
You bastard!
Hey.
I'm so sorry. Kind of crying while I'm doing it.
So you're attacking them. Alright, give me initiative. The little fairies get a 22.2.
Oh god, it's been a while. My initiative is plus 26.
26.9. Okay, so you catch them flat-footed. You run up to one of them underneath it, and you catch it before it can turn invisible. Give me an attack roll. Its flat-footed AC is 14.
1d. What is my saps roll thing? That's never thought of that one. This would be happening.
It would be a finesse weapon, so the same as your ranged finesse. And if it's masterwork, it's +1. It is.
D4. Or, well, sorry.
It'd be a 1d20 plus 12.
12, yeah. 32, nat 20.
Critical threat. Are you criticaling with the sap?
Yeah,
Okay. Roll to confirm critical.
7.
Plus 12 is a critical hit. So you just whack one of them. This will probably knock it out, but they do have one power that your sap doesn't get through, and that is critical table. Give me a percentile for the critical hit.
Oops. 91.
91 is an amazing critical, which is times 3 damage. Okay, so your sap, your sap is D4, I believe. Your strength is 0, so that's 3d4 plus your sneak attack, which is 3d6.
3d4 plus 3d6. That'll work. Modron will get that.
Yep.
13.
So you use 13 damage. This thing has cold iron DR, so it drops it to 11, but it has 9 hit points. So you do 9 non-lethal and 2 lethal damage to it. It's unconscious. It falls down onto the ground. It wasn't high enough to take falling damage, but you just ran up to one of them and swatted like a fly. It batted against the back wall and came crumbling down. You bastard! Then it's on their turn they all turn invisible. You hear them fluttering around. They're not attacking you.
I'm going to collect my fairy.
Okay, so you pick up the knocked out Fae.
Like a good grip on it just in case. Like, Fereosae's gonna kill me for this.
Yeah, it's a few inches tall. It weighs 2 pounds. It's got gossamer wings.
I'm also gonna be careful with wings.
Looks like a little elf. It may have had like a scabbard, but its sword is gone. It may have had like a little quiver, but its quiver is empty. You just pick up this little thing in your hands.
Okay, well,
You can hear. Do you speak? You don't speak Sylvan. Oh,
No.
they're cursing you. The little ones are cursing you.
I'm gonna assume those are curse words, and I'm sorry. And then I'm going to casually walk out,
Okay, undoing the door.
unlock the door, come out, shut the door, lock it,
Okay.
walk over to the bar.
You didn't do half bad. It's not very injured.
Says this creature as he holds it in his hand.
You said
Dirty
keep it
nails.
intact.
I did. He got one on his first try. Last fucker we put in there was in there for hours. We don't let them stay in there for days any longer.
He picks up the fairy and puts it down onto a tray.
Oh.
You notice the tray beside the tray that he put it down on has all sorts of like cutting implements.
Are you a real doctor,
Of course, I'm a real doctor. Do you know anything about anatomy?
or very little?
Do you know anything about anatomy?
Lou's gonna start laughing super hard.
Spyder puts out a bottle of whiskey on the table and puts down a shot glass.
Alright, well this guy's speaking my language. I'm gonna jog over and
Okay.
do a cool little hop onto the stool.
Alright, the spider feeds you drinks and seems to be impressed that you were able to catch a fae in mere moments.
Yeah, I'm pretty quick.
Use for someone like you, no one's gonna notice a hin.
That's what I was thinking. Now, Luudo is a little drunk, obviously.
I suppose some of your yonder folk could be useful. Tell me about this Sai and what he's been up to.
Well, Sai runs what seems to be a very profitable bar.
Yes, but what are his plans given this new age that we find ourselves in?
I haven't been there since then. His attic's haunted.
Bluff?
It's 16.
Okay. You proceed to get drunk with the spider and end up probably passing out in his bar. Now we shift back to the other group. As you guys are at the Pearl Cantina.
Indeed we are. This is sort of just post-fight, and the next question is, do we want to go ahead and go outside and give Rix the hats?
Oh yeah. The professor shrugs. Yes. Maybe it'll do some good for us.
Yeah, let's do it.
I don't have any other use for the hat. Let's do it. But he has to bring a buddy to fight with us.
Sounds good. 2 hats. Two thumpers.
Okay, Fereosae goes out to find Rix. You see that Sai was inviting a bunch of the street urchins into his bar.
Oh yeah.
And setting them to work.
Yes.
He's actually going to set them to work on sorting a lot of the stuff that people are bringing in and leaving as offerings as entry fees, while others are beginning to sweep and clean. He puts them to work right away. He seems to be not quite as scary as the demon or the devil that you summoned to get them out of your apartment.
That's right.
He seems to be, he knows how to talk to them at least. He also speaks in this strange, like, pigeon, this slew speak. I think the professor knows this language.
What is it called? Is it called Slew Speak? I don't know if I actually do know that one.
Was that Station Camp?
Station camp.
Yeah, I do know Station Camp.
Okay.
Is it like Creole?
Oh no, it's like a bunch of slang. Creole would have been more of an accent. It could be like
It's almost like Cockney.
It's all sorts of words for words and play on words and things that only slew or people from the station would get.
Or like the D'Antwoord language. What is that? Their language called?
Afrikaans?
Is it Afrikaans? The like slang that D'Antwoord speaks?
That is it?
There we go.
Hey, what's it?
You can see he's kicking garbage and he's kind of like blowing off some steam.
I'll hold out 2 hats.
Oh, yes. I'm not gonna ask him where you found him.
Two hats for 2 thumpers. You should bring your friend Musk. I think he'd have as much fun as you would.
Oh, yeah, Musk is alright in the fight. I do most of the kicking now.
kind of kicks in the air with his boots, and Zephyros is looking at him like he's getting kind of close to Fereosae.
We'll let you know when it's going to go down.
Alright. Who we fighting? Doesn't matter.
He's kind of grabbing at the hats.
We'll fight that Spriggan and his friends.
Yeah, Spriggans think you're so big. Because they are the fall.
We'll show him.
He grabs the 2 hats out of your hands, rolls them up into a ball, and sticks them under his beard.
Delightful. We'll let you know. I'll go back in.
I've taken them off my character sheet as well, so I no longer have 2 red caps on my character sheet.
Okay. Alright, you guys go back into the Pearl. If there's nothing else you guys want to do, you can stay there the evening.
I think next up is check out the ferry place and see if we can get him to give some info helping the fight, and then come up with a fight plan. Yeah?
Yeah. So you spend the evening in Zalara's apartment. The professor seems to have no problem sleeping in her bed, kind of wearing some of her like sleeping cap and a bunch of other things. The rest of you just sort of respectfully sleep on the floor, I guess. There's enough room. Normally Luudo takes the child's bed, but Luudo hasn't been back. This is now 2 nights that Luudo has been gone.
We'd be worried about him if we cared about each other.
We are worried about him though because he does have.
Oh, he's got our stuff!
Yeah, he has.
He has the key of infinite doors
yes.
on him.
Oh, I got a cat belly.
Did you realize you had the key when you were in the back room? You were like, I'm just gonna have a look around.
Let's see where this goes. I could vanish and pop out of here in a second.
That's
True. That's hilarious. And the perfect probe. Perfect spy. He's part of Jabba's palace now.
He is Lando Calrissian in there.
There's gonna be a scene with just some needless trumpets. Burr. 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 You guys are all looking at each other. That would require a Sarlacc pit, which I did put in the other campaign, by the way. Ooh. They found this evil Sarlacc pit.
That's...
Yeah, you spend the night at the Pearl. It is relatively uneventful after your run-in with Rix. The next morning, you'd see Rix is already at the bar when you guys pile down into the Pearl. Luudo has... No one has heard a hide nor hair of Luudo. The Pearl's a little bit quieter in the morning. Most people are sleeping it off or in the back. There are some people just sleeping at the tables. You can see a Vark searching around the grounds for junk, likely.
Well, I suppose we should head over to the Magnolia Residence soon. Hopefully Ludo's ingratiated himself with the Spyder. Might come in handy.
Hopefully, yes.
Perhaps we should fetch Manny and Tech as well. I suppose we'll be needing some muscle.
I think we need all the muscle we can get.
Mog is sleeping. You do see that Rix and Musk are in the bar. They're both sleeping at separate tables. Samson's like pouring some sort of dark tea. Sweet Josie comes out of the back and wishes you all a good morning as she then climbs underneath the bar and begins to make breakfast.
Good morning, my dear. Yes.
It appears that the breakfast is pigeons, and somebody must have ran to the Slewborough Meats because there is a package of what you hope is pork that is now fried up.
Tell me, madam, did you get that meat from the half-giant or from the bug?
Oh, one of the boys ran over and got it for us.
Yes.
Came in this nice brown packaging and everything, she says.
Yeah, I think I'll stick to pigeon this morning.
Are you sure? The ham smells good. It's got a nice ripple in it, too.
Well,
Yondans do like to describe food, as well as cook food and eat food.
it does look a bit appealing.
Malbut's there, looking nervous as always.
I was just looking to see if there's any weird kind of skill I could use to figure out if it was human meat.
Zephyros moved to the side because he's busy preparing his spells.
Yep. Avark is sort of like he's almost like waiting for you to leave, hoping that you leave some stuff behind, as he sees a wizard carrying lots of junk.
Well, what do you think? Shall we go over to the quality meats and collect our companions before heading over?
That makes sense.
It may be dangerous over there.
Malbut's like,
Are we going to go attack the spider today?
It may happen. We got to do a bit of investigation first, a bit of research.
Shall I remain here or follow you?
Oh, probably wouldn't hurt for you to follow along.
All right.
he looks miserable.
Try not to be seen, though. Perhaps a disguise?
He pulls his hood down further over his face. His bright red orgy robe.
Yes, maybe something, a different robe, a cloak. Maybe you could trade a bum for a flea-bitten blanket.
Malbut goes, dresses into his armor, and then he's not wearing his robe. He packed it away. He looks different.
I suppose that will have to do. Shall we?
Yes.
Okay, the group of you travels to go to the Slewborough meets. You find Manny and Tech seem to be running the place. You don't find Emmerich there.
Where did Emmerich go off to?
I don't know, he said he had stuff to do.
No matter.
We still have that guard upstairs. I don't know what to do with him. He's been sleeping. I think we kicked his ass, says Manny.
Yes, he looked a bit banged up.
Where's Luudo?
About that, he hasn't come back yet. We're going to investigate shortly. Thought you might want to come along.
Give me a will save for Manny.
Let's see.
He resists. No, stay here. Chop meat.
Yep. The DC of the will save is 6.
Yeah, it's...
Manny's will save is +9.
Okay, so don't roll a 1. If he rolls a 1, he's gonna pass and stay and run the shop. Somebody can give me a roll.
Let's have Levi do it.
Okay.
Yeah, I was waiting at. Ooh! Nat 1. He has succumbed to the knife.
I got a lot of work to do, he says as he's
Wiping his knife.
Bummer.
For some
Maybe tomorrow.
Zephyros says, okay, so we do this attacking tomorrow then?
you guys don't know, like, you kind of know that it has a little bit of intelligence, and that intelligence items can fool minds. And give me a sense motive, because you just told him his best bud in the world hasn't been back.
Yeah.
And he wants to stay to chop meat.
Yeah, that's a fair point, yeah.
Yep.
I don't know why we got the far.
Do you want to sense motive from all of us?
Yes.
Do you know what I rolled on my sense motive?
What?
A 1.
Nice.
+9.
15 for Zephyros.
Actually.
Okay, well, the DC of figuring out whether someone is under a charm or influence is 20 because you know Manny. It's 4 better, so 16 is the DC.
None of us got it. What about Tech? You've been there with him the whole time, watching his obsession. What's Tech's sense motive?
I'm not leaving this place. We fought hard for it.
Tech does not have sense motive.
He does.
Nor
Well,
does
no.
Mokranum.
Yeah. But you can use it untrained.
Yep.
How can I get Mokranum to roll? Can he roll?
Yeah, Mokranum can roll. I don't know if he put points in sense motive.
No,
Tech
he
is-
doesn't have. He doesn't
Tech
have
gets
points.
21.
He's got a +0.
Tech.
You are afraid.
Tech out of 21.
Yeah.
So Mok is just 1d20.
Yep.
Nope.
Oh, that's too bad that Manny's not coming with us.
That's what Mokranum says.
Tech realizes.
Yeah,
that.
Tech.
I'm not afraid. We're just not gonna leave this place behind. It's what we fought for.
You listen more to the meat, not protect collective hive. Luudo will become meat.
Okay, Manny.
Just kind of walks back into the store.
Well, we can.
Tech does go to Fereosae.
He has meat on brain.
He does.
Would this have been enough for us to start putting it together, or since we failed our sense motives, we probably.
Yeah, you can interpret what Tech is saying, and you guys did identify the charcut, the meat cleaver, and know that there's a grim intelligence in it.
Seems maybe that knife of his controlling his thoughts. Bit of a liability, it seems, especially if Luudo dies.
Is there anything we can do about it?
We could take it away from him.
Yeah, we might be able to protect his mind from some things,
But then one of us will be.
it's not that smart of a knife.
Would Ikimeister's hand feel the call of it? Because it doesn't eat meat. It has I think Ikimeister's hand has a bad will save though, so in a contest of wills it's probably not good. Well, do we leave him here and try again tomorrow, or?
We have plenty to do, plenty to figure out before we attack.
Alright.
But
Not
Luudo
just
is not.
storming in the front door.
But we don't know what they're doing to Luudo.
No, we don't know.
Hopefully it's what he's doing to them.
He is a bit of a crazy one.
And he has the key if he gets himself into trouble. Maybe he's back at the mansion.
Melvin's like,
What happens if the key falls into Spyder's hands?
We need to make sure that doesn't happen.
Malbut looks incredibly frightened.
Well, shall we head over to the manor?
Fine, Melvin, just don't stand near any doors.
Malbut's taking a step back from Zephyros, who's carrying a door.
I should probably stop carrying this door for a bit. Although we might need it sooner rather than later.
It might be a good thing to use once we find Luudo and the key, and then we can get through there, and they'll be so confused because there'll be a door.
That would be funny, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah. But we should go get Luudo.
We can't go get Luudo right now. We need Manny to come with us. He is a core part of our strength.
Yes, let's just go do some reconnaissance. We can come back for him tomorrow.
Let's go talk to the Fae at the manor and see what they know.
Yes.
Take a look around, see if we can lure them out, find their times.
I agree.
Which manor are you going to?
We are going to the Magnolia Residence. Weird things happen there. It's a painter and his sycophants.
Okay. You're gonna go to the conversation layer.
As we get closer to there, at some point I will cast Invisible Familiar on the hand.
I'm gonna draw a big pink box. Okay, you find, say the name again? Willow's Burrow?
Magnolia Residence.
Magnolia.
Where are we? Pink Fox in the conversation line?
Yep. Oh boy, that's a weird looking place. It's sort of a dilapidated manor, but people obviously still live there. There is a green smoke coming out of the chimney. Out of one bedroom window or upper floor window, there are hundreds of what look like little streamers of multiple colors coming down. The grounds are covered in all sorts of statues of little gnomes. Some better carved than others in lewd positions. There is an old cobblestone path that meanders through the front garden. An iron fence that is closed. And it says no trespassing on a wooden sign that's kind of hung over the gate.
Well, shall we knock?
The windows on the main floor are boarded up. The windows on the above floor are all open. And you can hear maybe a slight fiddle music coming from inside. Like a slow viola.
I'm going to send Pixel to sneak up to the upstairs windows and take a peek in.
Okay. She flutters in. She kind of turns her light on and off to let you know which window she's going in. And then a few moments later flutters back.
There's a man up there. He seems to be doing something with clay. I think he's making statues in the same way that you make them out of wood. He looks like he's made out of stone, though.
How interesting. I'll fly over the fence and take a look at one of the gnome statues.
Okay. Pudgy little gnome that is flipping the bird.
Made out of clay?
It's made out of stone?
Stone. How interesting.
It's like you actually see signs of like somebody took masonry blocks and melted them or puttied them into these little gnomes.
Okay. Detect magic.
Yeah, about I'd say half a dozen of the gnome statues are giving off a tiny bit of magic. A little bit of transmutation magic.
Is it kind of a lingering thing?
No, it's actually the gnome statues are magical.
Huh. Let me take a look at one of those.
Okay. Are you just hovering, or are you actually on the grass?
I'll go ahead and land on the grass.
Okay. You notice that the six that you identified as magical are starting to move.
Oh. I'll take a step back and start flapping up about 10 feet.
Okay. When you flapped off of the grass, they stopped moving.
Some sort of defenses.
They were all headed towards where she was standing, and they were starting to like point.
Seems as though you triggered the alarm by landing.
How interesting.
Perhaps we should knock and see if they'll invite us in for tea.
They didn't move very fast, and you would have had to stand there for a long time for them to actually come up and like whap you, but they were pointing.
Okay. Yes, perhaps we should knock then.
Well then, I will knock on the gate.
Yeah, so there's an iron gate that says no trespassers, and it's just an iron gate.
I will knock on it.
It looks like there might have been a bell at one point in time, but the bell has been filled with stone.
I will...
Like someone poured stone in it and it hardened.
Have...
How interesting.
Ooh, I will cast Ghost Sound, I think? Oh, my computer froze.
Ghost sound can make a lot of noise.
Yeah, I can manipulate the noise. Sorry, my computer froze, right?
Yep. It can be up to like lions roaring, but no speech.
Could I do like, yeah?
Yeah, you can make a bunch of hoots and hollers, sure. Okay, so
Or like, loud clearing my throat noise.
okay. There is something that flies out of another window first. It is this tiny, it sort of looks like part butterfly, part dragon, and it's trailing these rainbows of colors as it's flapping over towards you.
Oh, hello there.
Interesting.
It is tiny, I believe.
Yes, down here.
What is all the racket?
Yes. Ah, we've come to call upon the great artist who lives here. You see, we are distinguished art critics, collectors, and artists ourselves, and would like to admire his collection if he's at home.
Critics! Zed hates critics!
Oh, did I say critics?
Pigeons poop on you!
I meant artist enthusiasts. I will. Is it still paying attention to me?
It's actually flying above your head, and give me a will save as a pigeon just shat in your face.
Hold on, I am just turned all my things back on after a forced
The
restart.
pigeon was a little bit weird. It kind of flew out of the little dragon, and then there's like this big kind of like whack on your forehead.
We'll save +6. Oh shit! Can somebody roll for me? My browser closed.
Sure.
+6.
20? Okay. You realize that it was an illusory pigeon and illusory poop, but the little dragon has flown back into the house. Somebody is coming out of the front door because you're still making a lot of noise.
I am a carver myself. I also make statues.
It is a man in a floofy robe. He's kind of tying it up.
Delightful.
He's got messy hair and some really, really large glasses. Flying behind, out of the door and landing into his lap like it's a guy with a little dog kind of thing. The fairy dragon lands into his open arms. He pets it a little bit. He's sort of looking, adjusts his glasses.
They said they were critics.
I misspoke, pardon me. Yes, we're actually art enthusiasts. I am a scholar who's well versed in ancient arts, and this is my associate, Fereosae, the skilled sculptor. And of course, everyone knows Zephyros, the honorable Fant art collector of the area.
Naturally.
He almost got to the gate, but he's fiddling around in the pockets of his robes. He pulls out a little cigarette holder and then finds a cigarette, and he's looking around for something to light it.
I will cast, what is it, the cantrip Spark?
Yep.
I will do that for him. Yes, here you are,
Raises an
sir.
eyebrow.
Ah, we were told that a great artist is in residence here. Are you him, sir?
He's only about 4 feet tall. He must be a gnome, but he's really thin. Takes a little. He sucks on his cigarette and looks at all of you.
I don't know any of you.
No.
I don't know any of your works. Why is that?
Careful, they said they were critics. They could be lying.
Oh, well. You see, I have more in the study of art. I haven't produced anything other than the performance piece here and there.
Show me something.
If I must.
Show
Fereosae,
me something beautiful, something horrible, something wonderful,
would
something
you
dreadful,
mind?
something that will make me feel weird and aroused at the same time. Really?
It's quite
Not
a tall order.
Oh, yes.
You have something of mine.
Oh,
Oh, what is that? It was a
Statue
bag.
made of wood.
It was a bag a moment ago, and now it's a thing. What is that thing? What is it?
What is it?
I'm Macron.
It's strange and wonderful.
I could be any container.
Could you be a purse?
I could be a pretty purse.
Turns into a purse with a bunch of like rhinestones on it.
Oh, that's a dreadful purse. But it is an interesting creature. You have some fine luggage there, my friend.
No, thank you. Fereosae, will
What do you need, Fereosae?
The statue, the little statue.
Which one?
Of the fairy?
Yeah.
Okay.
The Tooth Fairy.
He pukes up the statue of the wooden tooth fairy. Is that what we're looking at?
Yep.
Okay.
I'll show it to Zedediah here and say, I am a carver of wood.
Oh my, it is quite realistic.
Indeed. My skill is great.
There was one time when a tooth fairy was the horror of the entire manor. Chased me around for days trying to get at my pearly whites.
Oh, yes. They can be persistent.
Yes, indeed.
Scene of nightmares. Horrible little thing. No offense to your kind, but
Your kind can be quite beautiful and
quite terrible all at once. You say you carved this?
Yes.
Curious choice of wood. I wouldn't have gone against the grain like that.
Tooth fairies are very much against the grain.
I see there's a deeper meaning to your carvings.
I suppose you could come in.
We have a bit of a collection. There are a few other artists.
That have come here.
Makaran, for keeping. I'll
Okay.
hand it back to him.
I will keep it for family.
Thank you.
Climbs back onto Zephyros.
Splendid.
He is a purse.
Wonderful. Is he for sale?
Don't think so.
It was a bad purse. You don't want a purse.
Is your art for sale?
I am a patron of the arts. I'm an enabler for those in these dark times who cannot scrape 2 coins together so that they can be free of their mortal concerns and create the divine.
Do. Yes, indeed. It is dark times. Nice to see someone patronizing the arts.
So you're here to see some
Paintings.
Yes.
Well, we've got some paintings.
I know of another great artist in the area. Jerks, I believe, is his name. But he's been kidnapped by one who is not a patron of the arts like yourself.
You're not going to try to rob us, are you?
Already a couple have tried to rob us.
And well,
We have magic. Not for you to rob.
you know, magic to protect ourselves with.
Oh, I may try and rob you of a spot of tea, if you catch my meaning.
Yeah, I suppose tea would be on this time of day. He looks up at the sky.
What time is it?
Okay.
Come on in.
What is that bug thing?
Oh, that is Mr. Gagat. He is a artist of a very particularly barbaric type of medium. Paints mostly in blood. Lots of
He's a painter.
bone sculptures.
He paints everything in red.
Yes.
He can wait out here.
Oh, he's quite avant-garde. You may find his opinions on the metaphysics of reality quite intriguing.
Give me a diplomacy check. She's like, yeah, we want to bring Murderbug into the house with us.
I don't want to leave him on the street.
Let's see what we got on diplomacy here.
I got a +5.
Can I roll it?
Sure.
Can anyone assist?
The professor was the one that made the argument, so I'll make him assist.
Okay, fair enough.
I will roll a 9 and not
It does not hinder, but it does.
26 though.
Yeah, I suppose if he's part of your little band.
Our collective, indeed.
Hmm.
I promise he won't cause too much trouble.
All right then. What did you say your name was?
Oh, I'm Fereosae.
Charmed, I'm sure. I'm Zephyros.
He presents his hand to you like you're supposed to kiss it.
It's very limp wristed,
Yep.
uncaring in its floppiness.
Yep.
I'll put my hand out as well and just sort of press it up against his.
Oh, yes, I suppose. He grabs your hand and just sort of raises it a little bit. Meanwhile, he had to shift his cigarette to his other hand that's also holding onto the fairy dragon. The fairy dragon, like, took a puff of the cigarette and then blew, like, multicolored smoke.
Splendid.
All right, stay on the path unless you want the gnomes to come and kick you in the shins.
Oh, most intriguing.
We have several resident artists. We also have a lot of the works in progress from the previous artists that have stayed here throughout the decades. Don't touch any of the art. I hate it when people leave their fingerprints on the art. Unless it's fingerprint art, there is a room.
All right.
Ah, what a gem you've built in the heart of our city.
Yes. The needs of the corporeal flesh require a lot. And, well, I help people ignore their physical needs for a time to explore their art. We currently have 4 resident artists. 5! Including BB here, 5 resident artists. Perhaps they are up and about. If you don't mind, I'm going to get myself a cocktail.
No. Don't suppose you have enough for another parched soul?
Yes, come along.
Ah, tell me, in these times of political upheaval, have you found it difficult to maintain?
Well,
the streets are quite horrid these days.
I think some of the artists were expecting supplies, you see, from the Plateau district. Something's wrong with the lifts.
I've heard that rumor as well.
The trick is just to provide artists just enough. You don't want to rob them of their drive.
I find a starving artist to be the most informed.
The place is kind of run down, carpets are moldy, but it is chock full of weird things like half-done paintings and little art, like little baubles and bibs. Tools everywhere. Somebody apparently was into candles in one room that you go through. Another, there are like sketches, but sketches done on little pieces of paper that are all nailed up along the wall, like the scales of a fish.
As we go through and sort of eye over the collection, I'm going to keep my eye open for anything that sort of smells of eldritch horror, sort of anything that looks like archdemons or inspired by the mind of someone gone mad by seeing too much.
Got it. So, first you come across a guy who's in the kitchen. He seems to be eating at the same time that he's sketching.
Nice.
It looks like he's sketching runes.
Hello, Etcher.
Sketcher.
Etcher doesn't say much. He's most brilliant etching things, and
You can see that he must not stop etching, because you see etchings across every surface in the kitchen, as well as on the walls.
he does leave his mark everywhere he goes. I think it must be an old dwarven thing.
Seems like it may raise the value of that table, though. For the right buyer.
Yes. Perhaps. He's been here for some time. Do you want to show them your etchings?
He points to the other room.
Oh, I suppose you could go in and look at his drawings if you want.
Ooh.
You'll find them here and there. Wherever he sits down, he just can't stop making his hand move.
I'll just walk up and look at what his current work is.
It seems like some sort of
repetitive geometrical pattern in a belt that he is currently making go across the table while he's eating a sliced apple.
Intriguing. Do I recognize it from anywhere, or is it just a pattern?
It could be dwarvish, could be giant.